Okay, welcome to Thrive After Teaching. Today I am interviewing Martha from who is a crafty Kilner. And she is was a teacher, a former teacher who now has her own business. So welcome, Martha, to Thrive After Teaching.
Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for your time today to share your journey from teaching into your own business, which is driven by a passion. Would you like to tell us a little bit about where should we start? Should we start with your teaching experience before your business?
Yeah, let's start at the beginning. So I was a primary school teacher for off and on for 20 years. I qualified in 2002 and I left last July. So the backstory behind that is I taught for 10 years thereabouts, and then I went off and had 3 children very quickly. I did actually go back to work in between having each of them, but it was only 16 weeks between the first 2 and then just a year between. So I had 3 years out having children, and then after the 3rd was born, I took a 3-year gap. And at that time was sort of used to being a busy teacher and decided I wasn't satisfied just being a mum, and I needed something else. I needed to do something for me. And I thought about an instrument. I thought about learning a language, and I somehow settled upon crochet and started to crochet, which then quickly turned into a passion. And then I started making more stuff than I could give away. So I started selling it on Etsy, on my website, in craft fairs. And then I started teaching crochet lessons in person as well, which was all lovely, but none of it was earning me enough money to sustain me, basically. So after my youngest child started reception, I went back to primary school teaching in Redbridge in London, and quite quickly realised that it was making me really stressed. And I was doing a really good job, and everyone was very happy with me, and the kids loved me, and the parents were happy, and getting everything done. But inside, it was just really taking its toll. I was having sort of physical effects of anxiety, and which at the time I didn't realise was anxiety. It's only sort of looking back I realised that it was anxiety.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sort of hair falling out, palpitations. I had 2 DVTs, which could be linked to being massively dehydrated. So lots going on. I was like, I think actually I need to stop doing this. But I was a teacher. I didn't know what else to do. And at that point, I worked with a coach, and I highly recommend working with coaches. I think they're really beneficial because they can guide you as to where to go next. And she said, well, why don't you take your crochet online? And I was like, that's a good idea. And actually, I included it, and I said, but you can learn everything. You can learn that online. You can do that on YouTube. And she's like, but you literally can learn anything on YouTube. You can learn a language. You can learn, if you want to do yoga, you can do whatever you want. But, how many of us with, thinking, I'm going to definitely do a Joe Wicks today, and then you just don't bother. So even though, yes, you can learn anything on YouTube, a lot of the time people still do want to pay a teacher to help them along the way.
Absolutely.
So then I built the crochet business online. So it has an online course, and I'm in the middle of launching my course now. And the amount of skills I've learned over the last just over a year is incredible. So that takes us up to the present day.
Goodness me. I'm just going to go back a little bit and talking about we suffer from stress in our bodies, and we, as teachers, we completely ignore it. And I experienced headaches and a neck rash, and I just thought, I don't know what I thought. I thought, again, I was dehydrated, but I had no idea it was a signal that I wasn't coping. I was overwhelmed, and I did need to leave. I needed a change. And I think it's a really important message that we do need to listen.
I knew there was something wrong. I knew I was having these pains in my chest. I went to my doctor. My doctor sent me for scans on my heart. Because I was having this pain, but there was nothing wrong with my heart at all. It was just anxiety, quite obviously crippling anxiety. And I had this sort of funny turn in the staff room one day. I went to hospital in an ambulance because my heart rate was racing at 100 miles an hour. And I was like, but I don't know why my heart's racing this fast. I was breathing fine. And again, at hospital, I couldn't find anything wrong. And when I told my friend, she said, that sounds like you had a panic attack. And I said,
Wow.
but I thought a panic attack is when you're hyperventilating, you can't breathe. And she's like, no, it can just be like this massively racing heart
Yeah.
rate.
And that's really
You
interesting
start
because
piecing things together, and my hair was falling out, so I can't like go like this with my hair.
that's
I would have all
amazing.
these strands of my hair, and
Gosh,
I
that's
had to be
scary.
sink blocker all the time in the bathroom because the
Yeah.
shower was plugged up with my hair that was falling out. So
Wow. We've
it
really
was
been
only
through
when I
it.
looked back and kind of like I was like, oh, and that was a symptom,
Absolutely.
and that was a symptom. At the time, I didn't know it. I knew I was stressed. I knew I was busy. I knew I was tired. But I didn't know all these physical things were because of stress.
Yeah, no, same here. I had no idea. And my heart used to race and I used to go bright red. And it was always when it was like a teacher that I felt uncomfortable with in terms of power. So a lot of the male teachers I found, or some of the female teachers, you know, when they feel they have power over you, and I could sense that, and anxiety. But again, I had no idea, absolutely no idea. So it's very important that we do look after ourselves and think about what's happening. So, but now, how do you feel now?
Well, no, I feel great. So, you know, crochet and, you know, other crafty things are, you know, known to help anxiety, and being able to have the time to do those things has really helped to settle things down. There's still a bit of trauma caused by teaching, so I am actually going to be starting some therapy fairly soon. So I'm fine now. I'm really happy that I'm not teaching, and I've got a part-time job as well doing social media marketing, which just ticks over nicely and isn't stressful, and it's enjoyable, and I get to see my children, and twice a week I take them to school and pick them up. And I think the biggest thing for me is I'm not exhausted.
So we have
teaching,
energy.
Exhausted all of the time. So
Yeah.
it gets to the evening, and I've still, you know, I'm still an early bird, and I'm a, you know, I get up early in the morning and I go to bed early, but I don't have that constant feeling of exhaustion, and I'm not constantly talking about other people's children and worrying about
It
did
is
someone
just
take their pat lunch that they were looking for, and did
it's truly amazing, isn't it? It is just truly amazing finishing teaching. So I last September I declined supply teaching. So previous to that I did 2 years of bit of supply, and it was regular supply, so every week I was going in teaching computing. But yeah, this September it was like, oh, I don't know what to do. I've got a business I'm setting up. And you do, don't you? You come to the point and go, actually, no, I'm now taking that leap away from school environment. I'm not working for the school anymore, and we have to focus on our businesses.
And it takes a while to be able to learn how to say no, because in teaching we so often just do say, yes, I'll do that. You have to accept that, okay, yes, that meeting's happening, I'll do that, and that's happening then, and yes, I can do that. So to actually say no is quite liberating, isn't it?
Yeah, I did. I felt so free. I almost felt naughty. I was like, oh no, I felt like I'd let them down. I'm not going to do supply anymore. So they had to rejig the timetable. But it's what we need to do, isn't it? We need to take that step, and we need to make our businesses work.
And it's funny having my own business. As a teacher, you're used to working flat out from the second you get to school to the second you leave, and then some at home. And I think the biggest mind shift in my head is that I don't have to be that busy all of the time to have a successful business. You know, you kind of need to cover all the basics, but you don't need to be busting a gut and doing all of the things all of the time. And for me, I've had to learn how to be like, oh, it's a work from home day. Okay, I'm going to bash out those 5 things on my list, and then I'm going to have lunch in the garden.
Yeah, exactly.
A walk in the park, and then I'm going to actually have a conversation with my husband.
I know, and it's just so lovely. It's so freeing, isn't it? And people talk about, oh, leave teaching and have freedom. It really is true that you can have that sense of freedom and earn money. I think people think it's just a fairy tale, that, you know, it's something that people say, but it's true. It is absolutely true. So next week, I'm off out to meet my cousin. She's over from Australia, and I just look at my timetable and go, right, put a line through that day. I'm not doing anything, and it's just the flexibility.
See the doctor when you need to see the doctor, and
exactly. Yeah, it's just so wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Martha, for coming in today. Where can people find you? Do you have a website, Instagram?
Yes, I've built my website. It's craftykilner.co.uk. I'm also on Instagram, Crafty Kilner everywhere, basically. And if anybody was interested in learning to crochet, I'm running a free challenge this week. So people can just come along into my crochet community group. Videos about 30 minutes, and by Sunday you will be crocheting.
Wow, I'm quite tempted.
It works wonders for switching your mind off. I highly recommend it if you are experiencing anxiety and stress. Finding some time to learn to crochet does really help with the mind.
And it's so lovely to talk to somebody who is a crafter. So I have a lot of interviews with teachers that have left, and they have businesses working with preschool children. And it's really lovely to go down a different direction and learn that you can create yourself.
I mean, I'm still teaching, but I'm teaching crochet, but it's nothing to do with children.
I think it's always within us, isn't it? Teaching others is like, I need to help more people.
No, I do actually like teaching. Teachers do like teaching. It's just everything else that they don't like.
Absolutely. Everybody says that. So many people say, if it was just teaching, I'd still be there. Give me a class of children to do maths or English or science or computing or whatever. That's all I needed to do. I'd still be doing it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for coming in today.
You're welcome.
And we'll post all the links underneath the video. Okay, thank you very
Thanks
much.
Good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.